Welcome to MacroCode. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. So today we are going to continue with our NETMAUI series. So you can see we have our API. So this is a series of creating a NETMAUI app and linking it to our API. So for those who are new to this channel, you can consider watching some of our previous videos showing how we have been doing this from start up to here. So we have our constituencies, which is the endpoint, countries, employees, locations, login, where we can also actually log in from our app, mobile app users, sublocations, villages, and the weather forecast. So this is our app. As you can see, it has employees, countries, and the employees. We have the first name, middle name, last name, date of birth, and you can create a new employee. So on the new employee form, you can be able to select a country. It is actually a cascading drop-down list. You can be able to link it to others. And at the end, we also have a section where you can capture a photo. So we also have the same thing on the countries. You can create a new country. We say this is Rwanda. So if you save, you are able to save the data on our local database. You can see we have the country name and the country code. So we also have the constituencies. You can save the constituency, but this is now you select the country, the constituency code, Nairobi, and you can save it. So once you save this, you can be able to see the data within that tab. The locations, it is also the same. You have to select the constituency, you put in the location code, say MB Mombasa. So when you save this, you're able to see the data here as well. So this applies across. So we did something on our previous video whereby we were able to sync the data. We have a button for upload a country data. This upload country data uses the post endpoint. You can see this is post country. So we are supplying the country name code, modify by, modify on, created by, and created on through our API to our database. So we have an employee database where we have the constituencies table. We also have the countries table. So this countries table actually receives the data from our app. So what we need to do, when you come to our countries tab, we are able to see ZA, Zambia, and Rwanda. So if we want to push this data to our SQLite, our MS SQL, then we have to sync the data to our database via the API that I've just shown you guys. So this is our API. So if we click upload data, we should be able to receive the data on our database through this endpoint. So that is what we did on our previous video. And as you can see, the data, a total of 2 countries, has been uploaded to the server. So if you click OK and come to our table of countries, select, you can see we have the last 2, the ZA, Zambia, and the Rwanda one. So those are the data that we did on our previous video. So for today's video, we are going to proceed with uploading constituencies, locations, and even the sublocations. Then I'll be able to show you guys, we'll be able to enhance our screen so that we are able to have a very good data grid. So let's start the coding. So if you come to our app, you can see, for those who are new, on our application DB context, we have some of our tables, mobile app users, representing the same thing that is on our API. So I'll go to our sync upload. So that is the page that we had seen where we are actually uploading the data, this page. So you can see we have the upload country data. So I'm going to copy this and we actually replicate it with upload constituency data. Constituency data. So on our upload constituency data, we want to replicate the same. So I'll just go to our data push view model. So you can see this is the command of uploading the country data. It actually takes the data from the country, check if it's not null, and loop through the list and upload each of the record. So that is how we did. So I'll also copy this and do the same way for our constituencies. So I'll just copy that. So this one will say upload constituency. So if you do that, then on our table, so we have to now get constituency data here. Then we'll get the constituency, so we'll replace this with our model. Then we are getting all the table data. Then we check if it's not null, and we actually loop through the data. So you can see we have the country view model. So I'll create another view model for our constituency. So I'll just copy this. Then I say this is a constituency view model. So we have so if we just go back to our table, we check how the constituency looks like. So you can see we have this data. So I'll just ensure that on our constituency view model, we have the int. So what I'll do, I'll just actually remove this, so that we don't want to be uploading the ID, because we actually, or we can leave it in case we want to update. So on our constituency view model, we have the ID, the country ID, the code, the name, and the created on, then are created by, and the modified on and modified by. So what we need to do is take this constituency view model, come to our data push. So we'll replace this with our constituency view model. So our country code, that is our code, will be the, so this will be constituency. Copy this, then we say constituency details, then we say the constituency code, we replace it with that, then the constituency name, then we also have the ID, country ID. So we have this as the constituency with the constituency ID, country ID. Then our constituency details, we have to supply it here, and we need, when we push the data to our server, we need to delete the constituency that we have actually uploaded, so that we avoid duplicate records. So we'll say this is constituency details upload failed. So this is, we change all this to constituency upload failed. That is when the result is, when it doesn't result, actually return the ID. Then we have when it uploads, you will say the upload successful. You have uploaded a total of that constituencies to the server. So on our endpoint, we need to see now we have these upload constituency upload countries. So we'll actually create another endpoint. So we'll say upload constituencies. Then here we'll say upload constituencies. Then we need to supply the country, the view model, constituency view model. So we have to have this on our API connection, our interface. So you can see we have it here. So we need to copy that, then we replace this with constituency view model. Then we need to have the same name as on our implementation service. So this is our interface. So we upload constituencies, and we actually need the constituency view model. So this is it, guys. So here we need to check our endpoint for uploading constituency. So I'll just come to our view, our API, come to constituencies controller. So we'll just copy the one for countries. We replace it with the same root. So if you come to constituencies, we have the post endpoint. So for the post endpoint, here it is. So I'll just replace this here and say post constituency. Then here I'll say from body. Then I'll close that. So it will actually now check if the constituency is not null. Then it will add the constituency, then return the constituency details. So this is our endpoint. So I'll copy the same endpoint, go back to our app and replace it here. Then on our upload data push view model, where we are actually now pushing the data, we replace upload countries with upload constituencies. So this is how it looks. If you want to see a clear, so upload constituency, it will retrieve all the data, check if it's not null, loop through, and push each data at some point, then upload the constituency, then it will return the constituency that it is being uploaded, then it will actually delete it from the mobile app so that we don't push it again. So this is our endpoint. So if we try, one thing that I'll do is I'll ensure, because we have the countries, I'll ensure that maybe we are uploading the data for let's say Kenya, ID 1017. So because the data is already on our server, I'll just this is actually meant for testing, but what you can do is actually push this data in a list, and also push the data with countries with their respective constituencies, with their respective sublocations and their respective locations. So we'll be able to see that on our next video, but today I'll just be pushing, I'll just push these I'll say this is just for testing. So I'll provide this the ID of the country that we are actually pushing the data. Remember, the country is already on our server. I'll be pushing for country Kenya. So if we launch our app, before actually we launch our app, we need to ensure this button is actually replaced with what we had. So you can see upload constituency, then you put in command. So we are using relay command. So then we can launch our app. We see how it is. We have an error. So if you go to the error, we have something that has cropped up. You can see constituency view model. What does it say? So on our implementation, it is actually, there is something not. So let's, on our definition actually, yes, constituency view model. This is the constituency view model. Let's see what is not right. Then on our implementation, come to our interface. Yes, you can see here we are actually referencing the country view model. So this should be constituency view model, because we're expecting back the same data. So if I push this, if we launch our app, we should be able to see the data. So we can have the breakpoint here so that we see what our data is, and also here and here. So let's relaunch also our API, because we made some modifications, and we can also put in a breakpoint. So I'm testing this all on my local machine, and the reason being is I'm using what we call NGROK. So for those who are new to this, so NGROK will actually expose my API to look like I'm actually hosted on a server somewhere. So if you don't know how to do that, you can actually Google and see how you can host your API using NGROK. So this is how my API looks like, and this is the URL that I'm actually using. So my app should have launched by now. Let's see. Yes, my app is up. So if I come to my constituencies, I'll be able to see I have two constituencies, Nairobi, Nairobi. If I come to sync data, yeah, I think there is something wrong with our view. Let's see what is wrong. So come to data push. So we can have the margin here. So I can have this as a, let me change this as a vertical layout. Then I can have this as a, let me just do this. I can do away with this and leave these two buttons here. Then I can say margin. I can say this is 10. Can have this margin. Can have this as 20. Then spacing, padding. Can do padding 10. Also do padding 10. So those are my two buttons. So the activity indicator is 1. So we expect two buttons there for uploading the country data and uploading the constituency data. So if I come to sync data, you can see I now have my upload country data and the upload constituency data. So if I click upload constituency data, you can see we have our constituencies. It has actually two constituencies, the Nairobi data with the country ID 5, and you also have the second one with also Nairobi. So if I proceed, you can see my constituency details now. I have the code, the country ID, created by ID. Then the country ID is 1017, the one that we have actually had coded for just testing. So if I proceed now, it should actually find our endpoint. And you can see it has taken us to our post constituency endpoint. We are actually now on our API. So you can see the constituency data. We have all the data there. So if I proceed, it will take us back to our app. It has taken us back to our app and it has given us the result. It has actually returned the constituency data with an ID. You can see it is 9. So if we proceed again, it will loop back, come with a new constituency. If I continue, it will go back to our API and post the same data. So if I proceed, then everything is done. So if we check our app, you can see upload successful. You have uploaded a total of 2 constituencies to the server. So if we come back to our constituencies had no data. So if I select here, you can see we have 2 constituencies with ID 1017. So that is how we push data to our server. So that we have actually uploaded data for our constituency. So if I come to locations, you can see we have locations. So we can also replicate the same. Let's do for the locations. So if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. And if these videos are very interesting to you, consider subscribing and also liking the video. Comment down below in case you have any other suggestions that we should actually do. Then we'll be doing them on our next series. So I'll just copy this and we say upload locations. So then we'll also replicate the same way we did on our model. So I'll just undo this. Then I'm going to copy this, which will actually modify and use it for our upload locations. So upload locations. So this will be our locations data. Then this is our location. So this should be locations. then get locations data, then this data, then this is, so we need to create the view model. So let's go and create another view model for locations. So you just copy these. So we'll be actually redefining this app as we go along. So locations. So don't worry how we have coded. This is meant to actually show you how to implement some of these things, guys. And you can actually do your best based on these code snippets. So I'll just go to locations. Then I'm going to copy these details and replace them on our view model. So I'll just copy up to here. So on our locations, you can see we have the constituency ID. You have the ID, the constituency ID, the code, and the location name, and the rest. So we'll go back to our data push view model, replace our constituency view model with location view model. Then we say this is a location. Then we say this is a location details. Location details. Then we can replace this here, replace this here. So the code. So we say code. Then this should be the code. Then this should be name, location name. Then constituency ID. We'll also do the same for constituency ID. We are going to take an ID. So that is let's say 10. We have 10 here. Then so the constituency, let's see what we need to have on our locations. The constituency location code and this. So this should be fine. So what's wrong here? Location details. You've already declared it, so I don't know why. So upload constituency, let's go and define. So we are going to copy this. So we are using REFIT, guys, for those who don't know. You can consider watching some of our previous video on how we were setting this up. So we have a series of all this. So, and we notice, guys, some of you are watching our videos and you are not subscribing. So please subscribe. Upload locations. So then we are going to copy this here. Then we need to define our upload connection on our interface. So I'll just copy this. So this is kind of straightforward based on what we have done previously. So this will be locations view model. Then we need to have it here. Then so for our API, come to our API, we have the locations view model. So I'm going to use the same thing we use here. We provide an endpoint and our post. So this is our post. So we'll say post locations. Then I'll say this is from body. That is it. So we are going to use this endpoint on our app. So I'll replace it here. So when you go back to our data push view model, we are going to use this. Then we need to have our locations here. So our locations will now work, and here we'll need to use we delete the locations after we have pushed. So this will be location details, upload failed, or location detail upload failed. Then you success message will be upload successfully. You have uploaded a total of that counter locations to the server, and this is how our endpoint, our data push view model looks like. So let's see, we say details here. What's wrong with this? We replace it here. Don't know what is wrong with this, but we'll just clean it and it will work. So we have our locations. This is locations. Then everything looks fine. So come to our data push view XAML file. Come to our data push XAML file. Then we need to define the command. So that is it. So if we clean our app, everything should be fine. Let's rebuild. So if you are watching this video up to now, subscribe, like the video. So we have some of the errors. I think there is something not right. Let's see our previous one where we have something. Yeah, actually that is it. We should be referencing not location details but location. So that should be fine because we are getting the data from here. So this should be location name and we are assigning it to our local view model. So that is it. So if we launch our app, everything should be fine and we should be able to push our data to locations table. So if we select the data from our locations table, we don't have any data. So let's see how it will work. Let's see if our app will launch. So our app is launching. Let's see how it will look. So if you go to our data push, we should be having 3. So you can see you have the upload country, constituency, and location. So I don't know if we have any locations data. So we can add another location. Choose the constituency. We don't have any constituency. Let's create another constituency. We don't also have another country. Let's create the country so that we can be able to create another. So I'll say TZ. So this is Tanzania. So if we save it, we are able to see the data there. If we come to constituency, we select Tanzania, then we say TZ as well. We say Trans Nzoia. If we save, should be able to see Trans Nzoia there. Then location, we click new, should be able to select Trans Nzoia. Then location, we should say KR. So I'll say this is Koros. If I save, we have the 2 locations. So let's put a breakpoint on where we have pushing the data so that you're able to see what happens. So if we come back to our app and sync data, if we upload, we're able to get the data there. This is the details. You can see we have the constituency ID and the rest. So if we proceed, I think we will get an error. The reason being, we didn't stop our API and actually start it again. Remember, we made some changes on our API, so it didn't find the root. So if we close our app and start again, then we should be able to upload the data. So this is our API. So if we come to our app now, then come to our constituents, our sync data, then upload locations, step, then it will be able to upload the data. There we are. You can see we have it has actually returned the location details that it has saved to the server. So if we proceed again, it should be able to upload the data and get us back. Remember, it is also deleting. So you can see upload successful. A total of 2 locations uploaded to the server. So if we come to our database, you can see we had no locations. So if we select top 1,000, we are able to see those data with a constituency ID. So this is how we have actually done to upload the data. So So you can also replicate the same for the others. So that is it, guys, for uploading data to the server.